Well, again, if you are in Fountain County right now, you got the tornado warning for another 15 minutes. And this part of the storm would have the wind, and this part would have the, if we've got a tornado developing, it's going to be right here on this little curlicue, right in this zone. And again, Kingman's over here. And the developing tornado would be southeast and east of Kingman, right in that ball, if you will, right in this zone right here. So it would pass to the east of you. But I'll go ahead and put another storm track on it as it tracks to the northeast. I'm going to put a pretty long storm track on it. Now, this is basing the potential of it lasting long enough to get all the way up towards Lafayette. The parent storm will get here, no doubt. We'll just have to wait and see how long this storm can hold together as it moves to the northeast. So, that said, we'll put a track like that. This includes the wind part. It includes any sort of isolated tornado risk, and we'll go right up to about Delphi with the track. And new times of arrival, Shawnee Township, this is about 11 minutes. Waynetown, it's 18 minutes. Coal Creek, you got about a half an hour. Shelby Township, 48 minutes. Lafayette, less than an hour. And Sheffield Township, we got a little more than an hour. We kind of adjusted the time a little bit. And let's see here. If you are out towards, like, I would say, West Lafayette, it's going to be, if Lafayette's about 57 minutes, it'll probably be more like about 50 minutes to get to West Lafayette. Once you get out towards, I would say, like Malott again, about a half an hour, another round of storms coming your way. And then eventually, on the Carroll-Tippecanoe County line, it's more than an hour. It's going to be greater than an hour before it gets into your area. And then Delphi and like Battleground and Buck Creek, again, it's more than an hour before this gets into your location. And we're basing that on thinking that, yes, this parent storm is headed your way. We will wait and see if it's still holding together with wind and tornado risk by the time it gets to that location. And then other storms are to the south. Now this part here near Terre Haute, weakening, that's the part that's moving towards Crawfordsville. So if you are near and west of Crawfordsville, you may be in a little sweet spot there where you get mainly just rain and some thunder and lightning. And then we'll watch this storm kind of move up this way towards Darlington and eventually Newmarket and New Ross, Ladoga area. It'll impact you, and then that storm there will head towards Clinton County. And then once we get towards 9 and after 9 o'clock, the instability kind of starts to tank, and the severe weather risk will thus begin to decrease quite a bit as well. So that said, again, the sirens did go off a little earlier in Tippecanoe County, but we don't have any more storms left. Again, this is just rain. And if you're in Warren County right now, I had a question, are we going to get anything in Warren County? This is mainly, in terms of severe weather risk, this is mainly going to stay east of you. And it's the same thing for Benton County. But we're not out of the woods, I would say, Tippecanoe, Montgomery, Fountain, Clinton, Carroll, White County. Now, Newton, Jasper, I think you're pretty much out of the woods with this. This is kind of turning into an event that is an Attica to Monticello line and eastward for any sort of severe weather risk this evening, the way it looks right now. Once again, 7:03. Again, we're sticking with this because we've got a tornado warning for southern Fountain County. You can see it right there. There's the red box. There's the clouded ground lightning strikes. There are the strong winds that may be 60, 70 up here, and then curving around the circulation. The circulation is right here. It is in Fountain County now, and it's moving right here. Again, there's 41 and 234. There's Kingman, and right here is 32, and right there's the movement of the storm. Right here's I-74, and when we take an X-ray of it, we can see where the rotation is located. Right there it is. It's still pretty tight right in that zone, right there. Pretty much right here along 234 east of Kingman. And there's 32 moving in that general direction. So this zone right here, 32 and 341. this intersection. This is going to move right over that intersection, and you may have some damaging winds that precede it of 60 or 70, and then you have the tornado that's trying to develop there right on 234. I also want to go and kind of move this a little bit up here towards Veedersburg. Again, there could be some pretty strong gusts up here that are severe strength up around Steam Corner and Veedersburg. The potential's there for those wind gusts to be reaching the ground. I'm going through reports right now, and I'm not seeing any damage reports, thankfully, just yet. That's the good thing. Let's see here, and also looking at wind gusts. Don't have a lot of weather stations down towards Kingman, but it does look like that peak gust at Covington was 35 miles an hour. But most of this storm is a little east of Covington. And I want to make sure I don't cover this up. I want to pull this over again. Right there it is. And right there, if we've got a tornado, it is going to be right here. The bright reds and that bright green area, it is likely right there, right in that zone, and moving like this. There's 341 and 32. Again, you know where you live in this area, 234, but right there, that would be the area most likely. If we've got something, that would be it, right in that zone. And I'll zoom in even tighter. Again, there are the curves on 341, and there's the straightaway, and it would be right in this zone here. And it looks like my radar data just updated. So let's go back and let that update. I'll zoom right back in. Again, there's the storm of real concern that we're watching right now. Again, right in southern Fountain County, the tornado warning continues. Again, we've got about 9 minutes for the tornado warning to continue. Right there it is. Again, you can see this little turn. You know, you look at this, it looks like a little mini hurricane in a way. Right there's the spin. That's the rotation right there. And look how much it's wrapped in rain. So you may not even see this. If we've got an EF0 or EF1 tornado mixed up in this, you may not even see it. It's just completely wrapped in rain, but one way we can see it is if we look at the winds. How fast is the rain blowing at radar beam level? And right there it is. It looks like the tightening has decreased just a little bit. Right there, really tightened up right there. Right there along 234 west of 341. It's not as tight as it was. But it's still definitely there. So again, a lot of wind here, 60, 70 miles an hour, and there would be the tornado location if we've got one. And for a minute there, it was really tight right in that zone. It's off to the southwest of where 32 and 341 come together. And right in that zone, yeah, that would be, it's a very rural area. You've got Wallace there, and that's about the only little location that you've got. I'm trying to find some other landmarks in that zone, so I'm going to kind of zoom back in there. Again, right there is where it would be, and again, the potential tornadoes down here, and then right here's 32 and 341, right off to the north. So right there it is. Everywhere else in the viewing area, we're in good shape. We don't have any severe weather to speak of. What we've got to watch are storms coming up from the south. So we'll watch this storm, and then we're going to watch these other storms come up from the south. We've got warnings near I-70. That particular storm there, if it holds together, that would impact areas, especially eastern Montgomery County. That particular storm there that's got a warning on it. But if you know, the greatest danger right now is right near Wallace, down in Fountain County. That's the area right here. Right there it is. This shows up actually very well, even without velocity here. You can see the spin right here, counterclockwise, right in that zone. Right there would be your potential developing tornado. And since this radar data updates every 3 minutes, it's probably closer up here to 32 and 341 right now. And it's still been looking pretty tight on radar. And there's the new radar data that's updating. I would suspect that it's probably getting pretty close to this intersection right here north of Wallace. So if you live in that area, if you're east of Steam Corner and you're northwest of Alamo, that's the zone. I'll do one more storm track on this because we've only got about 4 more minutes of this tornado warning. They may put out another tornado warning upstream that covers, we'll wait and see. Its rotation's still pretty strong on it. It may be kind of drawn up something like that. We will wait and see, and that would cover south, pardon me, about ripped my mic off because these are wired mics. That would be southwestern Tippecanoe County. So what I'll go ahead and do is just put another storm track on it. As it moves to the north-northeast at about 30. And we'll just do the whole area of that storm and take it up towards Lafayette. I'll make it a little more northeast, I guess, than north-northeast. The reason why I'm doing that is because it's probably what will happen is this is not going to track here. It's probably going to track more here. This is some rain-cooled air up this way, so it's going to follow the air that's not been overturned by storms earlier. So it's cooler, and we've had rain and that one thunderstorm that had a tornado warning on it passed just west of West Lafayette, or southwest of West Lafayette, out towards the Weah Plains. So new times of arrival with this storm that could drop a tornado at any point. This will be Waynetown here in 8 minutes, Coal Creek 18 minutes, Linden 28 minutes, the Cherry Grove area, which Cherry Grove is right there on Highway 231, well north of Crawfordville. It's near the Linden-Romney area, so that's a good estimate for the Linden-Romney area. It's about a half an hour away. Shadeland now down to 41 minutes, and we're less than an hour before the storm comes into Lafayette. In Wabash Township, it's now less than an hour. Mulberry, it's about 65 minutes, so a little more than an hour before it gets to Mulberry, a little more than an hour before it gets to Delphi, about an hour to Battleground and Buck Creek. And then around Dayton, I would say this would likely be about 50 minutes, a little less than an hour before it gets into Dayton. And for parts of West Lafayette, it's kind of similar to Lafayette. It's a little less than an hour before that comes back or moves into that area. So basically what I'm doing right now, we've got the storm track on it. We know when it may impact certain areas. I can tell you it looks like the storm is weakening a little bit. It doesn't look quite as potent and pronounced as it did just a little bit earlier. It still may be rotating. We'll take a quick shot of it and look at the winds inside of it. Again, if we've got a strong rotation here, we're developing tornado, it will be rain wrapped. It's probably about getting pretty close to this intersection. I'm waiting on my radar data to update, but I would bet it's about right here at 32 and 341 north of Wallace. That would be the area where it is most likely located. It would be east of Steam Corner. And that would be south of East Prairie Chapel Road and north of East 700 South, right in that zone there. And I guess 341 and 32 is really not an intersection. 32 tees, and then it tees again into 341, but you know which area I'm talking about right here. So let me look here. I'll go ahead and take another quick x-ray of it because we basically have only 2 more minutes of the tornado warning left here in Fountain County. And there's the new tornado warning. Kind of thought they were going to do that because the rotation's still strong enough. So we got a new tornado warning that includes Waynetown. Again, there's the rotation. It is really close to 32 and 341 as expected. This is the area, if we've got a little tornado, it's going to be right here. But even when I take the velocity data off, which I'll put the velocity data back on, and you can see the brighter reds here northeast of Petersburg and not far from Malott now. These are still some pretty strong winds. I would bet 60 miles an hour, but the part that's rotating is down here, right there by 331 and 341 and 32. So right there it is. There's your new tornado warning that's been put out. It doesn't cover Tippecanoe County. The polygon wasn't drawn that far northeast, but it is for Fountain and northwestern Montgomery counties right now. So you get our bearings straight. New Richmond would be up in this area. We'll zoom in a little tighter so we know some towns that are impacted by the tornado warning. It's not far from Coal Creek. It'd be that Elmdale area. There's Malott in the tornado warning right now. This makes 2 tornado warnings tonight from Malott, and Newtown is just north of the polygon. There's Cherry Grove south of Linden, just right here to the right. But Waynetown, you're right in the midst of that tornado warning. And I want to zoom in and see if I want to get some of the other towns. Wingate is right on the edge of the warning. You try to get, and there's New Richmond. You see it's west of Linden. It's not far from the edge of the polygon, nor is Newtown. So there it is. You see where the storm is, where you are located on the map. I-74 would be right here. You see where Alamo is located. We'll give you some highways so you can kind of depict your location. This is US Highway 136. There we go with Highway 341. And then there's 32. And if we've got a developing tornado right now, it's going to be very close to 341 and 32, right in this zone here. So right there it is. It's going to be very close to Waynetown, the part that's rotating strongly. Again, we'll put another, I'll go ahead and put a storm track on it and track it to the northeast. Because to me, it looks like it is trying to re-strengthen again. I mean, if we go back in time, if you look closely here on the screen, it was really potent. You could really see the rotation right there. Again, right there would be your potential tornado. And then we work it forward, and you can see it got a little ragged there for a while, but now it seems to be kind of tightening back up again. This little kind of bowling ball shape right in this area is tightening back up and moving right there, moving to the northeast at about 30 to 40 miles an hour. So that said, we'll go ahead and put a track on it, and I don't think I clicked on it and gave you the expiration time. Usually I get so involved in tracking I forget to click on it just to give you the exact time it expires. 7:45. And the Weather Service in Indy says the storm was capable of producing a tornado 7 miles southeast of Petersburg. And they're also indicating the potential is there for quarter-sized hail. And again, I think on the front edge of the storm, we're probably getting gusts to 60 as well. So we'll go back. And I mean, hail is one of the lesser concerns, really. When you've got a tornado warning, you're really focused on the tornado, but also be focused on the potential damaging wind out in front of it, the forward flank downdraft out and surging out ahead of the tornado, and some of the wind energy wrapping in behind it. You got the rear flank downdraft. A lot of times you will get severe winds that wrap around the mesocyclone, the wall cloud, or the tornado that is there, or the tornado that's developing. So we got kind of several issues here with the wind, possible tornado. Again, EF0 to EF1. This is not a violent one. It's not like it's an EF3, which EF3 would be a strong tornado. EF4 would be like a violent one. We don't have anything like that, but EF0, EF1, that'll take a roof off. It'll blow windows out. It'll knock trees down. You still got to be in the interior part of your house, away from windows. Have as many walls between you and the outside as possible, and ideally, it's just good to be in a basement if you are within this red polygon, if you are within the tornado warning. So, all that said, we'll go ahead and put our track on it. I'll zoom it out here, and we'll put a long one all the way up towards Lafayette and like Linden Romney and even up towards Delphi. Looks like it's moving. I want to get the speed right here. looks like it is moving. Yeah, it's moving northeast about 25. So what I'm going to do, I'll go about 30. And yeah, we'll go with 30, about 30 miles an hour. I'm trying to make it as accurate as I can with the exact times of arrival, trying to calculate the timing of it. So again, it's moving into Hillsboro right now, north of the Wallace area, and there's your track. We'll put it kind of about like that. We'll take it all the way up to Delphi. And here are the new times of arrival. It's very close to Waynetown right now. We've got 12 minutes to Coal Creek. New Richmond, 17 minutes. Keep in mind, these communities, some of them are not in the tornado warning, but you may end up in a tornado warning. And you may end up with some damaging just straight line winds anyway. Romney, 28 minutes. We got Weeaw Township. 39 minutes, at least for the city of Lafayette. We're looking at about 43 minutes now. Sheffield Township, 52 minutes. Tippecanoe Township here, it's 57 minutes. And Piermont, and also Edna Mills out that way. East side, Maracus area, a little more than an hour. And Delphi, it's still more than an hour. It's about an hour and 12 minutes before it gets to your location. This kind of leading edge of our box we've drawn, this is more like an hour, a little more than an hour. This is Lafayette, kind of in this zone here. You're looking at, again, about 42 minutes for this to come in. If you're in this zone right here, near Coal Creek, and perhaps just the southeast of West Point and Odell, you get the idea here. This is going to be about 11 minutes away from your location. And the general movement is towards Lafayette. The general movement is off to the northeast right now. And the issue would be not only a brief tornado, it would be wind, and it would be even some hail. And I will do a hail tracker on this because that was one of the wordings that Andrew White, a great meteorologist there at the National Weather Service, and they're all great Mets and really a great partner in this, and we all try to work together, passing reports along. Right there's your hail core to the northwest of Waynetown. It would likely be right there and just to the southeast of Malott. So you see that pink spot, again, to kind of dissect this, Linden's here, 231, Coal Creek, New Richmond area, Waynetown's here. Again, Malott's there, I-74, hail core, possible tornado, damaging winds wrapping around it. So that's basically dissection of this entire storm in a nutshell right now. And this mess is it's moving northeastward. So the Tippecanoe County line is right here. And if this stays rotating like it is, we'll have a tornado warning for Tippecanoe here very soon. And we'll have another tornado warning for perhaps the far eastern side of Fountain County. We'll go ahead and do a hail scope on this. And now the hail scope is not showing a lot of hail, but anytime you see, I don't know about this one. I feel like we've got a pretty good hail core right there, and I can even look at it 3D wise. The algorithm may not have caught up with this yet, but I would venture to say we got us a 1-inch hail core right here near Waynetown. Or what's happening right now, the radar is reading the hail core up in the storm because the beam is still pretty high around Waynetown from Indianapolis. The hail's probably up in the storm and may fall soon, and when it starts to fall, this may pick it up better. But I would venture to say we got ourselves some quarter-sized hail coming out of the storm. And another note, anytime you see an uptick in hail like that, the thing is, hail developing and reaching the ground is indicative of a strengthening updraft, and you increase the risk of getting a touchdown. So we know right now that this hail core that we've got, now it's northwest of Waynetown, this could indicate that things are strengthening here, and the greater likelihood that we're going to get a tornado down to the ground. So keep that in mind if you are anywhere off to near and northwest of Waynetown, and even if you're in southwest Tippecanoe County right now, you don't have a tornado warning, but I've seen this time and time again, when you start seeing large hail come out of these storms, you got a strengthening storm, and you know, sometimes a tornado will follow that large hail coming down. So again, I would be on your guard downstream here. So if you're anywhere like, I would say, so here's the storm, Odell, it's probably going to pass, it'll be really close, probably pass southeast of Odell. I'm really concerned about this zone right here. So I want to circle this area. That's the next zone that we're going to have to watch very closely. It is, pardon me, it's west of Romney. This is a Highway 28, this very rural area here between Odell and Romney. If you live in that zone, that's the next area to really watch outside of the tornado warned area. The main area of greatest concern right now, though, it is near Malott, right near Malott, and especially to the southeast for quarter-sized hail and the wind gusts 60 miles an hour, and then the 60-mile-per-hour gust perhaps as far south as I-74. And then you've got the part that's rotating. You get the part that may produce a tornado at any point, rain-wrapped, mind you, and a tornado that could be just wrapped in 60-mile-per-hour winds. And then in the middle, you've got the tornado that, you know, it's got winds 80, 90 sort of thing. And to me, it looks like that is probably about right here. So the wind and hail are here, quarter-sized hail right here, moving up here towards Coal Creek. And then you got the wind here as well, and then right there, boy, that's really close to Waynetown right now. That would likely be the spot, and I'm going to point out that spot and put our velocity product on, and that's really close. I mean, it's still pretty broad rotation, but right there it is. If we've got a developing tornado, it's right in that zone. It's northwest of Waynetown right now, and moving in this general direction. So the wind, the hail, the potential tornado is moving right up here towards the Coal Creek area, north of Waynetown. So if you're in that zone right now, it's time to take cover. You get an interior room, lowest floor of your house, have as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Again, another product I'm using here is the debris tracker, and there's nothing that's really like showing tons of debris right now necessarily on here at the present time. Okay, looks like, again, I'm reading everything that's being put out. I don't see any reports right now from that storm. Let me look at something here. Okay. Again, bear with me because you're doing these live and you're trying to kind of find as many things, find as much information as you can, really. And what I'm doing is trying to go to some weather stations and see what some of the gusts have been here if the power's not out. And that's another thing to look at here. One of the key signatures of seeing if we've got a lot of wind damage or a tornado in this area is power outages right in this zone. And I do have a couple reports here of multiple residents without power here. These are all east of Highway 41, where the power outages are, where the storm has tracked. I'll pop up some power company data here in just a second. Or if anybody if anybody is able, if we have an extra person in the back, if we have any sort of power outage information that can be pulled up online. I know we got an audio person and a director. If we have an extra person back there, if we could get like Duke and Titmont power outage information, that would be great if we have anybody that's able to do that. So, again, 7:29, the tornado warning continues for east central Fountain and northwest Montgomery County. It goes until 7:45, so we got about 15 more minutes, but it's almost to the edge of the polygon. So this may be canceled early, but given the fact that the rotation has held together so strongly, and as healthy as this storm looks, there may be a new tornado warning issued for this zone right here, for Tippecanoe and northern Montgomery County, right in this zone. That would be a decision that'll be made here in the next 10 minutes. And we'll see if a new warning is issued. We're going to watch the evolution of the storm. So to kind of, if you're just tuning in right now, online or on air, that's why we're on, because it's a tornado warning. And the potential tornado is, it looks like it would be southwest of Coal Creek. It would likely be between Malott and Waynetown. Now, if you're up around Wingate, near Malott, and say Kane, like right in this zone here, this is where the wind, and there's a hail core right here. This could be quarter-sized hail. That's not that far from Wingate. But the part that's rotating is more down here along 74. Right there's 136, and right there's I-74. This is the part that continues to show pretty strong low-level rotation, and we can see that with our velocity product right here. Again, it's very broad right now, but still, you know, these little EF0s, EF1 tornadoes, sometimes they're a little bit misleading because I have seen them, they don't look so hot on radar, but you end up with an EF0 tornado. So again, it's a little broad. It's still a potent storm though, and if we've got it, it would likely be right in this zone right here. Again, right in that area where we were showing you, where there could be a brief tornado. And you may notice me using the terms like, well, EF0, EF1. Is this, you know, if we get a tornado from this, is it an EF3 or 4 or 2 or 5? It's not a strong to violent tornado. This is EF0, EF1, but they're still very dangerous because EF0s, EF1s will tear trees down, they'll pull roofs off, they'll give you a lot of roof damage, they'll blow windows out, that kind of damage, you know, 90, 100 miles an hour, that's still very dangerous. So anywhere in this zone, near Wingate, Waynetown, Elmdale, near Coal Creek area, south east of Malott, that area you still need to be in your basement or an interior room of your home if you're on a slab. And you don't want to be on a second floor. You don't want to be on a third floor. Now granted, like an EF3 will shear off the second story of a house. EF0s, EF1s not so much, but you don't want to be upstairs. The winds are stronger in a tornado if you're upstairs. You're more apt to have windows blown out, and if you remove part of a roof, well, you're going to be upstairs right near that. So it's still a dangerous situation in that regard. But the biggest danger right now is really right along Highway 25, right here, north of Waynetown, right in this area, within that tornado warning. And downstream, it's that Coal Creek area. And there goes the data updating once more. Again, it's very broad rotation. It's not classic, but a lot of times our Indiana tornadoes don't look classic. They don't look classic on radar. And what I mean by classic is, you know, you see radar images online from Oklahoma and some of these big HP supercells down like Alabama, Mississippi. Ours, many times they just don't look, you don't have the classic debris ball and the classic hook, anything like that. And especially when you're talking about an EF0 or EF1, you're not going to see these classic features. This is a little more ragged looking. The hail doesn't look as large here, now east of Malott near Coal Creek. Right there's your hail core. This is Highway 55 that comes into 25. You know where that area is? That's the area that has the best chance of getting some hail. It's probably more like about penny size. Now it may have dropped its low to 1-inch hail, but like I said, when you see large hail in a storm, that's a sign of strengthening and can sometimes be equal to or precede a tornado to develop. So again, that's something still key to watch. Even though velocity is pretty broad right now, I would still treat this very, very seriously right in this area for a potential tornado, right in this zone here. Again, it's just southeast of Malott. It's just to the southwest of Coal Creek. It's not far from Waynetown. It's near Highway 25 and right there south of where 55 tees into 25 right now. All right, it's getting closer. It's getting into northwest Montgomery County now. It's approaching Tippecanoe County. Again, it looks a little ragged, but it's this part right here that I'm concerned about. You see the curlicue. Again, you can, even without the velocity, you can see the rotation right there. Right there it is. And you can see the evolution. This is the hail and wind. And you see this little bow. It's like the damaging winds are wrapping around the circulation. So I'm going to zoom in here, and this shows up well. Hail and wind, possible tornado right here, and then the wind wrapping around it. And right there, that's a pink box. That pink box is a tornado warning, but a confirmed tornado was located 8 miles east of Petersburg, 12 miles northwest of Crawfordsville. So remember, like I was saying, velocity data can look ragged and you can still have a tornado. So we have a confirmed tornado now from this storm. We have a confirmed tornado with a tornado warning now for Tippecanoe County, northwest Montgomery, and far eastern Fountain County. I've got these polygons color-coded. So whenever we see pink on the radar, I'll show you. See how this is pink and kind of shaded? That means we've got a confirmed tornado. Rather than the red is radar. We see it on radar. Pink is a confirmed tornado on the ground. So we know there's a tornado occurring now, and we know that tornado is near Coal Creek. So again, Tippecanoe County, we got a tornado warning until, I'll go ahead and plot the time here, until 8:15. It's 7:37 right now. So this is far northeastern, eastern Fountain, northwest Montgomery, and southwest Tippecanoe County until 8:15. So we've got, we've got about a half an hour here to kind of hunker down as the storm comes up from the southwest. So what I'll do, let's put a storm track on it and track it as it moves to the northeast. So it looks like it's moving at about, let me look here. Okay, observed tornado, 1-inch hail, and again on the front end of it we probably got winds up to 60. Tornado was reported near Highway 25 and I-74. Okay, so at last check, okay, tornado on the ground, intersection of 25 and 74 was reported. So, and right there it is, that's the tornado report that came down. And this was located right where we were tracking it near Waynetown, right there. Just northwest of Waynetown, right here, a confirmed tornado on the ground reported and moving like that. So now we've got confirmation. And now we know there's a tornado here, and it's moving to the northeast towards Coal Creek in southwest Tippecanoe County. So we'll put a storm track on it. As it moves to the northeast, about 30, 40 miles an hour. Again, I'm going to include the wind part of the storm and the tornadic part of the storm as well. And we'll take it all the way up towards Delphi. All right, so these are the times of arrival for not only wind, but up to quarter-sized hail and a possible tornado at any time along the path. And keep in mind, like we were saying, this tornado corresponded with when the large hail was occurring. So if we start to see more in the way of a hail core, we know that we've got a much better shot of getting a tornado, an actual tornado, even if it lifts. So New Richmond, you literally have minutes before this comes in. Shadeland, you got about 15. This is going to be very close to West Lafayette. It's mainly Lafayette, but again, I expanded this a little bit to the northwest to include West Lafayette, and that includes all areas off to the west, out towards the Purdue Ag Farm, the Lindbergh Village area, the Blackthorn area, that area around Menards and Meyer, and then all the way eastward to Pettit, and also around the Edna Mills area, and around Dayton, Battleground, Buck Creek, and Delphi. So Lafayette about 24 minutes, Battleground 34 minutes. Brookston, it's more like about 44, 45 minutes to get to your location. There's Pettit at 48, and now less than an hour to get to Delphi. And keep in mind, if you're anywhere in between these areas, you kind of know where you live. Again, New Richmond's here. Here's West Lafayette. Here's Highway 231. The Purdue Airport would be over here. So you kind of get an idea of where you live, where the tornado is, where the potential hail and wind are located, and you can kind of see the direction of movement. Right here, the Meyer on the west side is here. There's Menards. This is Montmorency. Over here is towards Happy Hollow. There's the Battleground area. And finally out east towards Edna Mills and Americus. We'll watch areas a little farther to the southeast, like around the Clarks Hill area as well, for the storm moving in that general direction. So that said, I want to reiterate here that we have a confirmed tornado. The conditions are not ripe for violent tornadoes, but these are very dangerous too. Even if you have an EF1, it can take a roof off. You can still get damage. You can still get a lot of trees down. And I want you to realize as this comes into your area, because of the wind and the potential tornado, if you've got a lot of trees around your house, you don't want to be out near the walls or the windows or near the rooftop, because if you have trees falling on your house, we could have injuries or something worse, fatalities in that regard. So keep that in mind. I want to take some of these, I'm going to take this icon off for just a second. I've got to do a couple of things. I want to get the storm reports, but I want to tell you what, I'm going to leave that tornado icon on there. Give me 1 second here. I just want to get the best view for you so we can track it efficiently and to a T, if you will. All right. So yeah, we'll leave that icon on. I don't think it's too distracting where the tornado was near Waynetown, northwest of Waynetown. So we know where the tornado was, right here, moving in this general direction. It's likely right in this area, very near Coal Creek. So Romney's here. There's Odell. It's going to pass right here if it stays on the ground. And it may be one of those, and we're in that kind of situation tonight where they dip down, they're up, they're down, they're up, they're down, they're up, that sort of thing. It's not a situation where you have a large tornado and it's just on the ground for 30 miles sort of thing. But right here, this would be where it would be located, near that Coal Creek area, and will pass between Odell and Romney. And on the flip side of that, up here, northwest of Coal Creek, there could be some winds up to 60, and some of the winds are kind of wrapping around the circulation. So the circulation is here with the tornado. The winds are punching in behind it. So we got a tornado kind of wrapped up in the rain in this little comma head-like feature. And this could be like some rear flank downdraft kind of winds wrapping around it, some gusts up to 60 around Alamo. You don't have a severe thunderstorm warning, but I would bet money you've got some winds up to 60 on this back side, and you do on this side too, and there could even be a little bit of hail mixed up on that side as well, northwest of Coal Creek. There's no really potent hail signature showing up, but we may have some peas and marbles and pennies potentially occurring with that particular storm. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the velocity once again to kind of give us an x-ray. I mean, we can kind of see where the tornado is in the comma head, right here, most likely right in that pocket, very close to 25 and 55 right now. But I'll go ahead and put my scope on with the velocity data. And again, it's not the best signature ever, but you know, I remember working back in Evansville. I was tracking a tornado. It's been about 5 years ago, and we had a signature very similar to this, and we ended up with a low-end EF1 that went through part of town and snapped some power poles off and snapped some treetops off. I think it peeled the roof off an airport hangar. And it looked a lot like this. It was not classic where it's bright red and bright green or blue, and you know it's really significant. This is very broad in nature, but we know where it is. It's right here. You can see the track of it in this way, right in this zone, in that little comma head. Again, a lot of wind up here, wrapping around and wrapping it around the circulation, but we know we've already had a tornado, an actual tornado observed, and this tornado could still be going. Let's see here. I'll take a look at my debris tracker, and again, if we're going to see debris, it's going to be a really bright spot on radar. Really not seeing a big debris signature per se right now. But nonetheless, you don't have to have a really bright debris signature to have a tornado that is actually occurring. If it's occurring over cornfields and soybean fields, it's going to be lofting up soil, and that's not going to show up very well with debris. And the thing about debris tracker is that it's going to show up if it's moving through a forest or a very well populated area. If you've got home debris, metal, things like that that are being tossed up, intersecting the radar beam, that's when you're really going to see a potent debris signature. So in order to see a debris signature, you need debris. And this is a very rural, heavily farmed area in this zone, so we're probably not going to see a lot of debris unless it hits a structure or something like that. So right here it is. We'll zoom in tighter. If we've got a tornado here, it's likely right on the Tippecanoe County line, right here. There's 25, Wingate is down here. There is Highway 28, Romney is right here, and it would be passing right through this area, this little comma head, moving to the northeast right now. I'll do another storm track on it just to update where it is and where we're going there, and there the radar data updated. Again, you see the comma head, right? See the curlicue? The tornado's right in here, moving like that. Here's Lafayette. West Lafayette is here. Weah Plains are back here. Here's Shadeland, West Point, Odell, Linden, Romney, the Veterans Memorial Parkway area, that built up area over here. Subaru's over this way. Dayton's over here. It's Highway 38. And there's I-65. And right there's your little curlicue tornado that is wrapped in rain, most likely. So I want to zoom in a little tighter here and get as tight as I can, giving you the most accurate track. So I am going to put a track on the whole thing as it moves to the northeast. And you'll notice the box changed color. So that tells me that the Weather Service may have gotten a report that it had lifted. Let me look here. Okay, this is just now. It says tornado warning, tornado observed with 1 inch hail possible, and the tornado warning continues until 8:15. And they still, the Weather Service wording is still a confirmed tornado. So the color changed on the polygon from pink to red. And normally when that happens, it means that they think it's lifted or it's been reported as lifted. Let's just be safe here and assume that we still have a tornado on the ground. And this may turn back pink again. This may be updated. Let's just assume we've still got one and it's moving to the northeast. So times of arrival here, I'm going to move my desk out of the way. Again, West Point, it's about 5 minutes away. Again, I've done a pretty broad track here. This is the wind, potential of anywhere from P to quarter-sized hail, and the brief tornado. Shadeland, 10 minutes. Elston, right there near McCutcheon, 15 minutes. The downtown Lafayette area, this is about 19 minutes. 21 minutes to Wabash Township. The North Crane area, 25 minutes. Battleground, a half an hour. And then way up here towards Buck Creek, it's more like about 34 minutes before this storm comes into your area. And you can see the general track. And again, to kind of get our bearings straight here, I'm going to kind of move this out of the way and kind of erase that. To kind of get our bearings as to where this is going to track, the storm in general, it would be all areas pretty much from, if you're near Subaru, Tippecanoe Mall area, all the way through downtown Lafayette, McCutcheon down here, all the way towards the Purdue Airport, Purdue University here, the Northwestern Avenue, Chauncey Village area, and then all the way out towards like, there's several mobile home parks out here in the Klondike area. So we've got to watch that very closely as the storm comes in. We've got several mobile home parks here out towards Meyer and Menards. This would include the Lindbergh Village area, Blackthorn, Capilano neighborhoods. Happy Hollow Heights would be included in this as well, and also the Green Hill area that is west of West Lafayette, and the Martell Forest area would be covered in this as well. And it's approaching us right now. Again, to kind of show you where it is. Again, those are the locations we talked about. Again, 231 here, Romney's there, 25, Shadeland's here, and then there's Odell, and your potential tornado is right down here. It's coming into Tippecanoe County now. It's very close to where, you know, where 28 does those two sharp bends in the roadway before you get to Odell. It's right in that zone. It's right in the comma head of this. And this may be wind and some hail. The curlicue is where we would have the tornado located. And then also keep in mind, you may have the curlicue tornado here, and then some damaging winds are actually punching in behind it back to Cold Creek. So we got the wind and a little hail here, and then you may even have some pretty strong 60-mile-per-hour winds punching in behind it, like the rear flank downdraft that pivots behind the tornado. And so it's several factors, several issues here with the wind, the brief tornado, and a little bit of hail too. And the best chance of hail right now from P to quarter size would be just very close to Odell, right there, where 28 does those two big bends in the roadway. And again, right there, the rotation shows up well. The rotation's probably up about right here right now, and the hail core is probably moving up this way because the radar data updates every few minutes. So if you're just joining us right now, whether it be online, I'm still online on Facebook Live, my phone, yeah, my phone needs to be recharged. Of all times for my phone to be recharged. Yeah, Chris, let's pop up that viewer photo real quick. We'll pop that up. Yep, that's a... Okay, this is West Point at 6:45. That was actually the storm that prompted the tornado warning earlier. This is right after the newscast during the CBS Evening News. That was that ragged wall cloud we were talking about. Obviously a wall cloud, a small wall cloud at that, but you see the lowering appendage there. And Chris, I don't know whether you can pop me up on the green screen here. If not, that's okay. But the tornado would emanate from that little lowering appendage of a cloud. I wondered if someone, if someone has a phone charger back there for me, because I want to cover this tornado warning, but I also want to keep my phone charged because I do not want to lose this feed on Facebook, because if people lose power, so we are on the website. If someone can get me a phone charger too to charge this phone, I did have one in here, but okay, thank you. Awesome people here. Chris is awesome, by the way. Chris is always here. Oh, and Alexis is here, our producer. You are awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, can you guys plug that in for me? Sorry, I just want to make sure my phone doesn't die. So what I'll do, let's see here. There we go. Let's see, I'm gonna plug this in. And just let me charge it a little bit. If you're online with me right now, be aware, I'm gonna charge my phone really fast and I'll be right back on. Okay. I'll tell you what, I gotta give a shout out to Alexis and Eric Bolt and Chris and whoever else is back there. I have an awesome, we have awesome staff here. I'll tell you that right now. Alexis and Eric are right here and they're always willing to help, and they're good friends and they're good co-workers. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. All right, back to the storm. All right, we're going to regroup here at 7:56. We still have the tornado warning for northwestern Montgomery. It's far eastern Fountain County, but it's just about to exit Fountain County right now. This is becoming more of just a Tippecanoe County storm. And you can see what we've got going on here with the storm. If we've got a tornado, it's here. We had one confirmed down here northwest of Waynetown from law enforcement. If we got a tornado, it is in this curlicue. See that? Right there. Right there is where it would be. This would be a little bit of hail and some wind, potentially up to 60. And then we likely have wind wrapping around the circulation, potentially up to 60 here. Forward flank downdraft, rear flank downdraft, a little bit of hail on this side. Does it look like really big hail? No, it looks more like peas and pennies, but looks like there could be some hail there nonetheless. The tornado warning continues until 8:15. It's quite possible that a new tornado warning will be issued that includes the city of West Lafayette and Lafayette here very soon, because the storm is still rotating strongly and it's had a history of putting down touchdowns. It's had a history of putting down some tornadoes. So we can go into our velocity product, and right there it is. There's the circulation right there. Now these circulations can be misleading, as always, when you have like an EF0 or EF1 tornado. Again, like I've been saying all night, they're not going to look classic and bright. And it also kind of depends on the radar angle, how far you're away from the radar. But they can look tame, but there's still a funnel cloud there or an actual tornado. And given how far it is from the Indianapolis radar, it still could be that we've got a funnel mixed up in this. It's probably rain wrapped. It matches well, that curlicue shape. Right here we have a wind shift. Right there is where the funnel would be. It'd be very close to the two loops in Highway 28 east of Odell, and it's moving up here towards the city of Lafayette right now. So it may not be as strong as it was. I mean, I'm looking at this, from the outside looking in. The rotation isn't quite as strong, but it's my experience that not all rotation signatures are the same. And in this case tonight, it's not like we've got really strong rotation really high up in the storm. The rotation signatures are pretty shallow, and we're not going to see quite the same signatures as we would see in a towering supercell that's got an EF3 tornado. So there it is, but it shows it very well, the curlicue, right? I mean, we showed you that. Right there it is. It would be right in this zone if we've got a tornado that's developing or